When you're studying A-level statistics, you're going to come across Venn diagrams, and you're going to have to be able to identify certain regions on the Venn diagram. You're going to be needed to do this using a statistical notation as below. So let's say we're trying to find the region representing A and B. We take each of the letters that are in this question and identify them on the diagram. Let's start with A. So A would have these two sections highlighted, and we just put a tally in each of the section that it represents. Now let's do the same for B. B would be represented by this section, but also the section in the middle. Now what we have are three sections. Technically, they're highlighted like this. But what we'll notice is that the A and B represents the bit where they overlap, where they count twice. That's this bit in the center. If it was two pieces of paper where they overlap, it would be darker, just like it is here. What we notice about this section is it contains the highest number of tallies. This is what we're looking for. So we can say that the probability of A and B is going to be the 2, the section we found the frequency from, over the total in this whole diagram, which is 20. So the probability of a randomly selected person being from there, 2 out of 20 or 1 out of 10. Let's try that again with a different question. Next one up is probability of not A intersection B. Firstly, identify the section which is not A. You see, everything inside this circle is what we call A. So everything that's outside of that circle must be here and here. Next, we identify the region B, represented by this region and this region. And because we're dealing with intersection, we're looking for the part where they intersect. In other words, where they counted twice. That's where we have the highest tally. Therefore, the section we're after is this one. I often call this bit the half moon. Let's write that out in terms of probability. So we have a half. Let's look at the next one. In this one, we're trying to find the area or the probability of not A intersection not B. So, start again. Where is not A? You can imagine circling A in your mind and then just highlighting the other two sections. So here and here. Then what is not B? Circle it in your mind and then put the two tallies in the correct place. You'll notice that the section on the outside has been used twice. This is the section we're after because we're looking at intersection between the two, where they count twice. Let's turn that into a probability. There's no more cancelling down here. This is it. Time to move on to the union now. In the case of the union, the method works exactly the same. The difference is we have to analyze at the end what the union actually means. Let's go ahead and begin like we always do. Highlight the section A with a tally. Now highlight section B with a tally. Previously, if it was an intersection, we go for that bit in the middle. But this is a union. A union means that all parts count. Okay, A or B or both. And in that case, we cannot count the center point twice. It has two tallies, but it will only count once. Therefore, when we're dealing with a union, as you can see here, what we end up having to do is count everything that has a tally, in which case it would be all of those three sections. What would that look like for a probability? We would have 5 plus 2 plus 10 all over our 20, which is 17 over 20. Let's try it with the next question. Begin by highlighting the sections which are not A. Next, that are B. And because we're using the union, we're not using intersection, all of those will count. So we get this sum, which is 15 over 20, and this will simplify to 3/4. Last one. Firstly, identify the region which is not A. Now identify the region which is not B. All of those will count. Let's turn that into a probability. We would get this sum, which will become 18 over 20. which will eventually become 9 over 10. And that's how you do the tally method for these basic questions. The tally method is a great way of structuring what's going on when it gets more difficult. Look out for the more difficult version of this in an upcoming video. If you want to support this channel, head on over to Patreon. You can get extra resources and a free gift with every sub.